Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a special online event today called Clearing Your Karma, the Kundalini Shakti Path to Clearing Your Karma and Real Freedom Using Your Inner Fire. My name is Stephen Dinan. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of the Shift Network, and I'm delighted to be with you here today, learning from a remarkable man who is coming to us straight from India. His name is Raja Choudhury, and in the last few years, he's become one of the favorite Shift faculty members for really distilling ancient Vedic wisdom, Shakti wisdom, Kundalini's integrating many different schools into a very modern life. He had a career as a digital strategist and video producer, and he still does a lot of that work, but he's also built this incredible body of work drawing from ancient Vedic traditions and applying that to a modern world. And today we're going to particularly focus on karma. It's an area that we've heard a lot about, but there are very specific practices that can help accelerate the clearing of our karma, and we're going to get a taste of those today. So welcome, Raja Choudhury.
Namaha, Stephen. Namaha. It's good to be with you. And I love working with the Shift Network, and it's been a couple of years since we started together, and I am so grateful for this opportunity to continue my work with you. Thank you.
Well, I always just love being with you because you're so buoyant and kind of uplift the energy. There's just you kind of bubble with it. And I think part of that is because of the clearing of karma. And that's why we want to focus on today is that the more we can clear the dross, clear all the clutter from our energetic field, the more we can uplift naturally into more enlightened vibrations and more higher octaves. So I'd love for you to start today. I know we're going to have this hour with you, and we are so excited that we have a full new program with you around karmic clearing that we'll talk about towards the end of the hour. But let's start with a little bit of what brought you to this work. Like why now you're bringing forward this work, recognizing how important it is for the world right now. So what on your personal path put you to where you are today?
Stephen, before I begin to answer your question, I'd like to just invoke a little energy for us, if that's okay with you. I'd
Perfect.
like to bring a little energy in. So I want everybody to chant with me. We're going to chant the mantra, I'm Kleem Soul. And Soul, Kleem, I'm. When you do I'm, do it in your head and your tongue. When you do Kleem, do it at your heart. And when you do Soul, go down to your yoni or your linga area. So you're going to go, ready? I'm Kleem Soul. Soul, Kleem, I'm Kleem Soul. Soul, Kleem, I'm Kleem Soul. Soul, there, a little energy for us to work with. So, back to what we were talking about, the whole idea of karma. In fact, this work that we're doing now in karma and in healing and in getting rid of the luggage of our lives, our past lives, our ancestral legacies, is very much work that has unfolded for me over the last 2 years, working with students on the Shift Network on Kundalini awakening and third eye opening, and working with the body as a temple for grace to descend into us. So allowing a rising of energy so that grace can descend. And what we discovered doing this work was that people were holding on to a lot of trauma, a lot of guilt, a lot of fear, a lot of inhibition that we can describe only as karmic, because karma, as you probably know, means the consequences of my actions, the consequences of my words, the consequences of even my thoughts have a consequence. So when we started looking at it, we found that people were really storing all this stuff up in their stomach. And there were practices that I knew that I had been initiated into to light a fire in your stomach. And once you lit that fire, what would happen would be you start to burn away all this bad karma, and a smoke rises, releasing good karma for you. And the more we did this work over the last year, the more we found these remarkable cathartic experiences going on, where people were having experiences of shedding past issues, becoming healing in their bodies, finding wellness. And we just loved the unfolding process. And the more I worked on this with everybody, I realized that we have something here that we can share. And that's why I brought this teaching together today, and I want to share it with you.
Well, it's a beautiful backstory, and there's nothing more powerful than something that emerges organically, not from theory, but really just the lived embodiment of these practices. So let's talk about, and I think most of us have some notion of what karma is, but maybe you could share a little deeper understanding about it coming from a energetic and spiritual standpoint.
So the Indian philosophical tradition, as you know, falls into two main parts, which are called Vedic and Tantric. And Vedic is the ancient Vidya, the knowledge that came down from the seers of ancient India and poured into the books like the Rig Veda and the Upanishads and different books like that. The Tantra was a later development that became techniques of awakening, techniques of connecting to the source. So you developed in the 8th, 9th century massive schools of Kundalini Shakti, Tantra, Shaivism, Shaktiism that came across India. What we find is that the Vedic and Tantric concept of karma is very similar, that we accrue in us the consequences of our actions. So everything I do is karma. If I do something good, it's karma. If I do something bad, it's karma. Karma is the result of my actions. Now, what happens is that the bad karma that accumulates comes from, where does that come from? And what the Tantrics and the Vedic seers saw and felt was that it comes from a key factor which they called ignorance, avidya. And that ignorance was a very interesting idea, because the ignorance said that if I don't know that I am divine, everything I do acts in the world to create more problems for me or more material gain for me. I'm not actually liberating myself. And the problem was that avidya of what? Avidya was driven by something that drives something called desire. So if you look at the structure of karma, karma is the result of desire that comes from the result of not knowing who you really are. So think about all the things you desire in life. You desire material success. You desire happiness for your family. You desire power. You desire career. You desire enlightenment. Anything you desire leads to karma, because whatever you desire suddenly becomes an action in the world. And where does that desire come from? That desire comes from not knowing that you are actually divine inside, what is called avidya. And avidya is ignorance. And avidya, if you think about where does karma really come from, karma comes from the idea that if I knew what I really was, would I say or act or do things in a particular way and therefore create so much karma that my whole life became clouded and burdened with trauma and difficulties and consequences? So this idea of karma is beautiful in that it is the consequences of your action. And what the Vedic seers said and the Tantric seers said was that the cure to this karma, to free yourself of bad karma and to clear yourself of even the attachment to good karma, was to develop knowledge, vidya. And this vidya, which is one end you have avidya, ignorance, and on the other hand you have vidya, is the knowledge to remember who you really are, a divine being having an adventure in this body. And if you get that knowledge by whatever means possible, you start to become karma free. And this is the journey of karma for most people. We never get to vidya. We get stuck in the illusion of avidya, of karma, of desire, kama, ichcha, sexual desire, food desires, all drive our motivations. And therefore, because we've forgotten who we really are. And so all of this work is to remember who you are and then burn away all the bad karma in whatever you can.
There's some fascinating points in there that, like, I just want to clarify. So desire that emerges from a recognition of who we truly are actually doesn't create the same kind of negative karma. If what I'm hearing you right, there's the way in which it's the desires that and actions that flow from the ignorance that tend to perpetuate themselves and get us more stuck. But actually, as we become more awake and clear of who we are, then our desires are more of a natural outflowing of our divinity. Is that part of what you're saying?
It is a very good way of putting it. And the way to consider it is that if I don't know, for example, let's take an example. I don't know Sanskrit, right? If somebody says, you don't know Sanskrit, now I want to learn Sanskrit. Now, that desire, I want to learn Sanskrit, had no beginning. That means there was no knowledge of Sanskrit before I came and you told me you should learn Sanskrit. Then I start thinking about Sanskrit. Now, I've created a desire, but that's a good desire because I want to awaken knowledge in me. I want to grow. I want to evolve. So I learn Sanskrit to read scriptures and to develop knowledge and other things. But the same thing happens with anything negative. If you are faced with a challenge, or you are faced with a desire or an addiction, that also has the same kind of voice. It'll come along and say, you really need to smoke that, or drink that, or do that, or say that thing in that argument with your partner. You really need to say that. Desire bubbles up in you. And because you're ignorant of the source of that desire, because you're ignorant that there is this great knowledge in you, you act on that desire. And that desire leads to all the consequences. So you have good and bad karma. If I decide that I want to be kind and compassionate, I acquire good karma. If I decide I'm going to be mean and horrible and say nasty things to people, I'm getting bad karma. I'm accumulating bad karma. If somebody acts upon me and I react, I'm getting bad karma. If I carry my ancestral luggage with me, I have bad karma. Or I might have good karma because I'm now spiritual, because my ancestors were spiritual. Everything has this moment where desire converts into action or karma or into something, and that action has consequences. That's what we have to realize, is how to nip it and then observe a way before the desire kicks in.
Beautiful. So it sounds like the first step really is this deep recognition. This is the recognition of yourself, of knowledge. And then I know a lot of your practices of karma clearing work on a kind of an energetic logic, if you will, that there's a way in which the energy, the momentum of karma that's flowing forward can be arrested or transformed with specific practices. So how does that work?
Well, I'm going to give you a little example. Let's do a little meditation right now. Everybody knows the mantra Om, right? I'm going to teach you a tantric approach to Om, which alters your body consciousness. Now, if I tell you that in your body, you have 3 cities, 3 brains, 3 worlds that you live in. You have your lower reptilian brain, which controls your fears and your anxiety and your desires, and all your trauma is held in your stomach or your sex organs or everything is down there in the lower, what we call the lower sun. It is the lower part of your body in the bottom 3 chakras, going down from your navel down to your sex organs and down to your anus. Now, if I say to you that that is one world, the second world is in your heart, where you become human, where you start to sense compassion, your kindness starts, you start to interact and empathize with other people. That all comes in your heart center. And the third center is your head, where you have this other brain going on, the chattering brain, that on one hand can give you massive awakenings, but on the other hand gets in the way and analyzes everything, and over chattering monkey all the time. It's a chattering brain. So the tantrics figured out that there was a very easy way to reconnect to that source energy that you are, that you've forgotten that you are, just by chanting Om in a specific way. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. We divide Om into 5 parts really. 3 first, which is A, U, and Akara, Ukara, and Makara. And we end with silence, which means I go dissolve my ego completely. And then we go into absolute void at the end, dissolution. So we start with desire. Ah. We then have action from that desire. Ooh. And then we silence our brain by quietening everything down by going and then we go into the silence of the void. So what we're going to do is chant with me, and we're going to relax all the way up the body. So breathe into your stomach if you can. Imagine you're inflating your stomach like a balloon. And chant Ah loudly. Ah. And relax yourself completely, letting go of all your fears, all your anxiety, everything gone. Now take a deep breath into your heart center, between your chest, in the middle of your heart center, and chant Ooh. Ooh. And relax completely. And you start to feeling your heart beat. You start to sense your tingling in your spine. And then you go up to your nostrils and your tongue and your head, and you chant the makara, the sound, the rolling So ready? We go. And we completely relax our mind. All that chattering starts to slow down. And now we're going to combine the 3 together by doing ah, oo, and then the silence afterwards in one go. So we started the breathe into the stomach and say and you hold it out. And you start feeling as light as a feather. Then you take a deep breath in again. And again. Pure silence. And then again. And relax. So just taking the traditional chanting of Om and making it into a deep relaxation of all your physical being, from your lower mind to your heart mind to your neocortex, you become completely relaxed and your karma starts falling away and you feel lighter and lighter and lighter. Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful. I can feel like almost a filling in of my energetic field as we do that. It's like it's like an energetic car wash, just clearing and opening and clarifying.
That's a very nice way of putting it. And it is a cleansing. It is a clearing. And this is the beginning. And I'll show you over the next few minutes how we then light a fire inside us that opens up all kinds of possibilities, right? But you were asking me something earlier about the process of this transformation. Tell me again what you were asking me.
Yeah, well, it's just how that there's like specific way to work energetically. It connects with what you were saying around the fire, that there's a way to burn karma internally without having to necessarily address it in all of the worldly ways, but there's the sort of inner alchemy to work with it. And so you're starting to lead into it with the suggestion of a fire internally that burns karma.
Correct. And this takes us back to the concept of the Kundalini. the Kundalini Shakti, that this is an ancient knowledge of a coiled up energy sitting inside you at the base of your spine, that is power, that is your eventually your perfect way of connecting heaven and earth and your masculine and feminine in yourself. And part of what I teach is how to awaken that Kundalini Shakti. And in the ancient scriptures, it was always described as lighting an inner fire. A kind of, they described it as a serpent fire because of the way it moved. They described it as a fire that once lit would burn away all the remnants of your ego and your trauma and your karma, and then free you up to become air and float into the akasha of your mind, into the higher consciousness. Now, if you imagine that that energy sits at the base of your spine, you're going to have to light a fire somewhere along this spinal cord. And the ancient system that they talked about was called the chakras, where you had these 7 chakras along the spinal cord that started at the base as Mooladhara and went up to the top of your head as Sahasrara, where you connected to your divine nature. Now, Kundalini was the energy that takes you from one to the other level completely. Along the way, it opens up these centers that heal you, that give you energetic, that give you power, energetic healing, that give you energetic realizations, that give you bliss, that give you strength, that give you power to overcome all the obstacles in your path. And they're known by goddess names. They're known as Shaktis, which mean the sacred feminine energy awakening in the body. So what we have is this idea that at the 3rd chakra, now remember, we talked about the fact that we store all our negative trauma, all our karma in our stomach. And this is, on the one side, we're bringing all this energy in, and then we're lighting this fire at the Manipura, which is at the navel, the umbilical cord connecting you to the Divine Mother. At that point, you can light a fire. And if you light that fire, it's almost like a beautiful sacred fire you're burning, into which you throw all your pain, your suffering, your diseases, your desires, your wishes, all are put into this fire so that they become smoke and rise up your spiritual life. Now, the fire has 2 purposes. One is it burns away all the bad karma in your life, accumulated in this life by you, accumulated from your ancestral legacy, accumulated even in your past lives. You are burning it away just by lighting this inner fire. And then the fire becomes a smoke that rises up and becomes akasha, which is you become free and you start becoming as light as a feather. So the whole idea of shedding your karma is to burn it at the Manipura, open your heart completely to the world, and become then light as a feather as you climb upwards on these energetic centers here. That's the beauty of this work.
Beautiful. I love the very powerful and descriptive. So also breathing, I understand, is really key to igniting this fire. And so I'd love for you to share, I know you have some practices you want to lead us in terms of breathing that can help to increase the sacred fire.
So one of the teachings in the ancient Vedic and Tantric scriptures has always been about how we convert this energy around us called prana, which is flowing in everything, similar to the Chinese qi, which is the prana is in everything. The prana is the cosmic energy flowing through plants and animals and the earth and the galaxy. Everything is flowing through this prana. And we become a conduit for this prana. And the way we bring prana into the body is through breath. We take deep breaths into our stomach, and it starts by cultivating energy at the base of our spine and then rises up like a wind going up. So what we do is, in order to take that prana and turn it upwards, it's not a natural thing that happens. We have to kind of push it along a little bit. And the breathing techniques that we do in yoga or in Mula Bandhasana and different things of yoga is to tighten your bum, turn the prana upwards, and send it up to your spinal cord. So the secret is, I'm going to teach you a 3-part breath now called the Ashwini Mudra, which is the kind of beautiful clasping breath. You're going to clench your bottom, touch the tongue to the roof of your mouth, turn your head back and tighten the neck at the muscle there. And you're going to suck this energy up from the base of your spine, up over your spine and into your head. So you do it in 3 breath stages. 1 in the stomach, 1 in the chest, 1 in the head. So you go and breathe it up and hold it. And you hold it for a few seconds with the tongue touching the roof of your mouth. And then you drop it like a massive double exhalation. Again. Tighten your bum, tighten your neck, touch the tongue to the roof of the mouth and hold it. And then you drop it. Again. And this has been shown to correlate with the cerebrospinal fluid pumping up your spinal cord. And this creates the fire that we're talking about. This, you can feel the heat already. If you did it with me, you'd start feeling sweat on your brow. You start feeling a heat at the bottom of your spine, at the anus. You start feeling a tingling going up your spine. This is the beginning of that awakening. And then the second part of the breathing, which is called the Bhairavi Mudra, is a very interesting breath. And this is, this is known to tantrics everywhere, and it's a beautiful breath. It's done in yoga as well. You breathe out with a big roar, like a lion. And you hold your breath out. And then you gyrate your stomach in and out a little bit. Maybe 10 times, and then you breathe in again. And just that roaring with a rhythmic breathing immediately increases the pumping of this energy, like the fire burning in your belly. And then the final stage of burning the fire in your belly is to breathe into your stomach, and this is the fun one, okay? You're going to all laugh when I do this. So you breathe into your stomach. You smile like an idiot, you widen your eyes, and you stick your tongue out and go, I promise you, you do these 3, you will burn more karma and get more energy in your day than anything else will do for you. That's all I can show you on that.
These are great techniques to do in the office. I'm sure that would really.
Oh yeah, Everybody do the Bhairavi Mudra.
What's Roger doing over there? He's roaring in his office right now. So these might be home techniques.
I think it will revolutionize the workspace. It'll revolutionize how we work. I think the whole office get together every morning and do the Bhairavi Mudra.
So maybe you could share, just I wasn't as clear, so I think these are really fascinating and probably very powerful techniques, but how do they actually connect with the burning of the karma? What is it that they're doing to help to accelerate that?
The problem for most human beings is that our fire at the belly is a little less than a candle for most people. It's not a real energy being. We have to energize ourselves. So the whole purpose of doing this is to bring this prana into us, whether we do it through walking or nature or food or whatever we do, and then turn it into this fire by doing this ferocious breathing just for a few minutes that gives us this energy. And suddenly that little stoking coal fire you had earlier becomes a beautiful flaming fire in your belly, and you start feeling the heat of it. And once you do that, then you can begin to burn your karma and do mantras, do whatever you need to do to get into that higher states of consciousness where you burn away the karma. So it's really just a magical technique to increase the fire in you, what is called tejas, the fire of prana going up you. And it burns away all the negative prana called apana going downwards. So there are 3 ways to get rid of negative karma on the breathing techniques. One is to increase prana by fire and burning and breathing. The other is by digestive control, to get rid of all your waste matter as early in the morning as possible. So taking, organic foods or drinking a psyllium husk or doing anything that will help you empty your bowels, your colon, that increases prana as well and reduces the luggage of carrying all this karma with you. You get lighter and lighter. So that's called apana. By getting the apana lower, we push down, we increase our prana. And then we light the fire at our stomach, and there, any lingering doubts, any lingering fears, we burn them, anything we want. And then we move upwards, and we can then direct healing from the third eye and the heart to every part of our body, to other people, and to heal our karma, to heal ourselves. And we become free, freer and light as a feather after a while.
I love it. It's so powerfully described. You referenced also the mantra as well. And I know we're just getting a chance to taste a lot of different techniques, and we're going to have a chance to go much deeper into them in your upcoming program. But what about mantra and the power of mantra in an additive way with these fire-raising techniques as well?
So in Shakti Tantra, there is a wonderful energy we call Chamundaya, sometimes called Chandi or Durga. It's a feminine goddess energy. And really speaking, it is the intelligence that sits at that fire in your belly. It's called Chamundaya. And the name Chamundaya means the divine Kali Durga goddess that destroys two demons in you, two negative energies in you, one called Chanda and one called Munda. Chanda literally means the chattering brain, the chiki continuous talking going on in your head that's accumulating more and more karma because you're overthinking stuff, you're overdoing, you're over analyzing yourself, you're over criticizing yourself, you're doubting yourself, all that stuff going on. We want to chop it off. So she chops off the head of Chanda. Boom. That's why you see that ferocious Kali image of a machete carrying Kali with the tongue sticking out. The second one is called the headless body. It is the lower brain that is continuously desiring sugar and food and sex and other things. It is always thinking that you're going to die, so it needs you to reproduce or to eat or to do something. And you need to shut that up too, and that's called Munda, the headless one. So we cut off that head too. So when you light Chamundaya and you learn the Chamundaya mantra at the Manipura, you are invoking the energy that stops your upper brain from chattering, that stops your lower brain from accumulating more crap and fearful and being fearful, and you let go. And the mantra itself burns all your bad karma away. So I'm going to initiate you into the mantra. This is I have been in a lineage that allows me to do this. So from Guruji Amritananda to me, to you. And so I'm sharing this with the world today, and I hope you will all try it. You're going to say it with me. The first sound is, say it together. I'm A-E-E-M. I'm Hreem, H-R-E-E-M. Hreem. Clean. Same thing, but ka-la. Clean. So I'm Hreem Clean. And then you call the name of the energy. Chamundaye. And then you say, Viche. Be victorious in me. So you're summoning the grace of the three divine goddess energies of Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, and Mahasaraswati into you. And then you're lighting them at your belly and saying, destroy all my enemies, my bad karma, my chattering mind, my lower brain, and release me to victory. So it's a beautiful mantra. So we do it together. I'm Hreem Clean Chamundaye Viche. I'm Hreem Clean Chamundaye Viche. I'm Hreem Clean Chamundaye Viche. Now this is the magical mantra of karmic luggage, unloading, dumping, burning, and releasing. It represents the divine mother of the cosmic womb. So you're in this cosmic womb, and the divine mother sending through her umbilical cord two energies, one to protect you against all that negative stuff in your life, and the other to nurture you and lift you up to your higher potential. So she is the goddess of both the downward and the upward movement, apana and prana. She does it both ways, like this. So you get that beautiful posture of the goddess holding her hands up and down like this. And what happens there, you can do it in one of two ways. The way I did it is the loving mother way. Aim Hreem Kleem Chamundaya Viche. But then you can also do it like the ferocious mother who is going to destroy all your enemies and all the things in your path and karma holding you back and releasing you. And you can do it rigorously, like Aim Reem Kleem Chamundaya Viche, 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 Aim Reem Kleem Chamundaya Viche. So just one mantra done 3, 9, 108 times in either way can create an energy in you that burns into one direction and releases you in another direction.
Well, thank you for that beautiful clarification and transmission of that mantra. How important is it when we're working with mantra that we have a understanding of what we're chanting in a way like Reem Kleem? How much is it important that we know what we're actually saying, or is it just the vibrational power and signature of that does the work?
At its very core, done properly, meaning is irrelevant, because this is the sounds of discovered by seers and mystics through Sanskrit, through thousands of years of effort to figure out these are called seed sounds. And seed sounds have a power just in themselves. We have later given them meaning. We've given them a goddess energy or a meaning of transformation. So Kleem is a sound that opens the heart, while Hreem opens the third eye. And Aim is the river of consciousness flowing down you as Saraswati. So these are just metaphors. But when you actually do them with feeling and with passion, you will begin to sense what they mean just through experience. And so when you do Aim, Hreem, Kleem, you're bringing all this energy through your mind from grace from above, down through your heart to your fire, and you're lighting that fire and saying, Chamundaya Viche. So it's a kind of 14-part mantra there. But what you have is a secret code that's being unlocked for you that, as far as you're concerned, if you do it right, it could be abracadabra. It doesn't matter. Now, if you understand the deeper esoteric meaning and the stories behind it, which I teach, then it becomes richer and more beautiful. And then that energy becomes manifest for you as a living entity in you. And that's the beauty of this Kundalini work that we do.
Well, it's so incredible when you describe it, and it just really wants us to dive deeper into the practices. One thing that I think comes up with people when working with Kundalini and talking about all this fire is that there might be a little nervousness around what happens if I activate too much fire, or if it's overwhelming, or if it happens too quickly. What do you say to ensure that there's kind of it unfolds in a safe and balanced way too?
So if you remember, we started the practice by grounding ourselves with the And grounding yourself at the lower chakra is very important, because you have to ground yourself before you can burn away all your karma, before you can become human in the heart, before you can travel into the heavens and become a yogi in your head. So the whole principle and the practice in this work is always to ground yourself well. And if you're grounded with a good teaching and a good process that I try and share, you end up going through these experiences in a very strong and grounded way without much negative consequences. I've had the good fortune of teaching more than 1,900 people in the last year and a half on the Shift Network. And I don't think we've had one bad experience. We've had people have had few experiences, but most have had a releasing experience, a pleasurable experience, an ecstatic experience, a visionary experience. So what I find is that if you ground yourself well, then the possibility just unfolds like lotuses blossoming along the way. And you have these 7 lotuses that you can blossom. And each one has a sound, and each one has a vibration and a color and a geometry that you can study with me. But that's a more esoteric, deeper study that we will do in this course that's coming up. But the most important thing is that by doing this work, I become free of the karma that's holding me back from remembering who I really am. Pure divinity just taking a little trip in this body right now.
Awesome. Well, is there any particular other insights in terms of how we harness this inner fire for specific purposes? Let's say we've got a disease that we're working with, or that there's a particular challenge in our life. Is there a way to focalize the energy in a particular area as well?
Yes, and it's one of the processes we learn in this work is that once you've activated this energy, it can be distributed by the heart. So in ancient Vedic and Tantric teachings, the heart is considered to be the mother. That means the heart is Shakti, is the source of the mother energy in you. That means that all healing can only occur when the heart takes this energy you're generating and burning this fire and distributes it to all parts of your body or to other people in healing terms. So if you can light this fire in your belly and you move up to your heart, you begin to distribute this energy to cells, to each cell in your body, to each molecule, to each structure, through synaptic pathways. You become a kind of guide and conduit for this energy to flow, this prana to flow to different parts of your body. Now, one of the secrets that we teach in this work is that it can be guided where it goes by the intention of your third eye. So once you feel that you're rising and you feel the energy culminating here in your third eye, if you visualize a particular part of you that's in pain, or a joint, or a problem that you've been carrying for years, and you put it through your mind and you send it down and surrender it to the heart to heal it, you will be directing it through the heart to heal that particular pain or that particular trauma or that particular, and then you can say, I'll throw it in the fire and let it go, or I'll just surrender at the heart and everything will be looked after. And by and large, this has a greater than placebo effect. So it actually does work. But it is that process of going from earth to fire, to directing the energy in your third eye, to letting the heart flow it in everything. This is the algorithm and the map that we draw in this work. And that's when magic begins to happen. Healing magic, releasing magic, clearing your karma. And remember one thing, that it's not enough to just clear your bad karma. Attachment to good karma is also an obstacle in your liberation. Just imagine that if I become very good at meditating, or if I become very pious in my charitable work, or I become too self-righteous in my prayer and meditation practices and my church going, I block myself with my ego again, even though it's a better form of my ego. I'm still stuck with the I factor that I am meditating, I am doing this, I am a better person, I am compassionate. So even that, after a while, you begin to let go. And the more you let go, the more you heal, the more you attract, the more energy comes to you, the more healing occurs to you, the more you start to glow like this, the more you become a living energy being. This is the whole work, and how it can go into the world from you and into you to heal every part of you.
Well, it makes perfect sense. So, Roger, the one area that we haven't covered yet that I want to make sure we spend a little time on is the 3 centers of bliss. And I think you referenced that to some extent, but to really ground that in, like, how do we activate that in an embodied and balanced way?
So if you remember, when we started the practices, we just did Om, where we did Ah from the Muladhara down there to Oo, and then Now, if I drew a map of that, you would find that there are 3 points in your body called Dvada Shantas, or honey pots and centers of bliss. There are 3 main ones. There are many, but these 3 are the main ones. And the first one is considered to be, oh, that's a security system here. The main one is 12 fingers above your nose, 12 fingers just about here. So about 3 or 4 fingers above your head, there's a portal there that connects you to divinity above, to the dance of Shiva Shakti, to the cosmos. This place here, sometimes called the Sahasrara, sometimes called the Dvada Shanta, is one honey pot that grace pours into you from there. It pours in through a bindu and comes down into your being. The second place that this bliss comes, this jiva comes, is at your heart center, just between your 2 nipples, at the middle. There is another honey pot of bliss. This is where it is believed that the Atma lives, the eternal principle in you, the soul, the Jiva Atma lives there in a beautiful lotus, sitting there in a white pearl, sitting on the white pearl. And you, that heart center, is your main port of bliss. And the third one is down in your Muladhara, at the base of your spine, where you can bring your energy all the way down, and it gives you prana up, and it protects you and covers all your fears and gets rid of all those other things. So these 3 are your 3 centers of bliss. Now I'm going to teach you a little technique that we did the Om upwards and the crazy breathing, but now we're going to go downwards. So if I brought in beautiful grace from above me, I want to imagine that as I'm breathing in, it's coming down to my heart with the sound hum. And I don't have to say it, I just have to hear it in my head. Hum, like a inhalation. Hum, hum. And then as I turn it around and let it breathe out from my heart upwards to the other port here, the other portal and the wormhole into the other side, I go sa, sa. So I go hum to my heart center, turn it around, and then sa, let it go out. Hum, turn it around, sa, hum, sa. Now you do this a few times and you start to feel a bliss in your heart, and you don't know why. You start to feel this grace pouring into you. Hum, sa, hum, sa. The tantrics say that we have approximately 21,500 breaths in a day. How many of those can we think hamsa to? Sa. And just keep our awareness on that in and out. And stop. After a while, you can stop the hamsa, just watch it come in and watch it go out. This gives you a tranquility that is unbelievable, and you become light as a feather. Now I take that same hum and let me bring it in all the way down to my Muladhara, to my base of my spine. And I tighten my bum there. And I say ah and hum. Ah for Muladhara, remember ah, and hum for the throat. So I go ah hum. And all 3 centers of bliss get activated. Again. Tighten the bum. Aham. Bring it down again. Tighten the bum. Aham. Bliss, bliss, bliss.
Well, what a blessing to receive that, and it's a great way to complete our tour of these many practices for karmic clearing. And I just want to say what a incredible blessing this hour has been. I feel like you just reveal world upon world of great practices and insights, and there's a juicy, delicious way that you describe it too that just is like for all of our being. So I want to spend a little time talking more explicitly about your upcoming program, because we really are not just in the inspiration business, we're in the transformation business. We want people to grow and evolve and awaken and heal. And Raja has some very important practices. If we're going to make a larger planetary shift, we have to clear the karmic backlog that is weighing so many of us down. And on a very personal level, I know that each of you out there has your own contribution to the larger shift, your higher mission, your deeper sense, and oftentimes it's the karma that's dragging us down. And so we're very excited for the upcoming program with Raja, because we feel it offers very good medicine and very time-tested practices that help alleviate that karma and to clear the old dross and the baggage that can weigh us down, and really open these bliss centers and align us with a higher energetic power that wants to move through us into reality. And when we do, our lives are a lot better, more beautiful, more filled with grace, and more filled with love. So these practices really have a profound downstream effect on all aspects of our life. So Raja's program is called Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, Kundalini Shakti Practices to Heal Karmic Patterns, Find True Freedom, and Awaken Bliss. You can find it described in detail at karmaclearingcourse.com. Again, that's Karma Clearing Course, just as it sounds. It's actually going to be a 9-week program. It's a little longer than some of our programs. So it's a more advanced program. And this is intentional because we're working with very potent transformational energies, and to have a little bit longer time to deepen in the practices, to really get all of the different facets working together, is going to serve you in your journey. So, Raja, I'd love for you to share in your own words what you're going to be sharing with students in this upcoming Ancient Secrets for Clearing Karma, and then we can go into the modules.
As you said earlier, in my other life, I'm a filmmaker and a storyteller, and in great mythos, in great storytelling, you always have a 3-act play. And we're going to do a 3-act story in 9 modules. 9 modules divided into 3 chunks of 3. And in the first part, I'm going to teach you about karma and how the energy works around you, and how to bring it into you, and how to break the rocks of your ego and earthbound nature, and let water flow through you and light a fire in you. I'm going to teach you all these pranic secrets and how to generate prana in you. And we're going to prepare you for a quest. In a way, it's almost like an initiation. You're going to be initiated into the physical stuff that's going to get you ready to burn that karma and free yourself and liberate yourself. And by the time we are prepared in our training for the 3rd class, we move into the second part, where we're going to explore in this next part of the story, you ascending, you following your bliss and going upwards. But in the process of doing it, learning the divine energies inside your body that will take you from ground to heaven. And here we will introduce you to how to heal at the karmic heart, how to open the heart center with Mahalakshmi and the chants of that beautiful mantras there, how to engage the heart and send it out to different parts of your body, how to open your throat and release the energies and become like liquefaction, dissolve your ego completely, and then how to go to the 3rd eye, actually experience the 3rd eye, so that you can then direct the energy through your heart of that prana to heal your karma, to heal your pain, your suffering, to heal other people. I will teach you all of that. And by the end of the 6th class, you will be at that stage where you are now ready to return, but with these great gifts and technologies and tools that will help you to awaken. And then I'll teach you how to use that in your life. I'll teach you how to work with your higher consciousness, how to open these bliss centers, and then work with this to heal your karma, your past lives karma, your ancestral karma, and let go. And then learn to heal the world, heal other people, heal the world itself, bring it back into alignment. Allow the world to see a shining pillar of light that when they look at you, they know that something is aligning in you and they want to know what it is. And then by the end of our journey, we'll explore the dance of this consciousness and body that creates this bliss alignment and how you can become light as a feather. And I'll work with you over these 9 modules to take you from earth to the bliss of dance of consciousness and energy in the cosmos.
Well, what an extraordinary offering, Raja. And it's really clear that you have a depth of mastery of these practices and also of worldly embodied life. I mean, you have a family, you've had a career, and I think that's so valuable for us to learn how we can marry this deep awakening practices with our full embodied life as well, which is the path of Tantra, and to not separate those two. So I'll share a little bit more about the program. So Raja's laid it out on kind of the high level. There's more detail on the modules. You can at karmaclearingcourse.com. So you get not only the 9 90-minute live sessions with Raja, which includes time that you can do interactive questions and Q&A time, and you can also do practices together. There's a very powerful field that gets created when we have a global sangha of practice that's doing these practices across the wires and across the worlds, that really opens a new a real field of grace that comes in, and people who have experienced Raja's courses before can testify to that. So, and even if you can't make the live class, we have recordings, we have video recordings, audio recordings, we have word-for-word transcripts, so you can go back and refer to this and recharge your practices. Every third class, we're also going to have a small group time to connect with other participants. And so in these small groups with other participants, you're going to really be able to deepen your sharing of what's emerging for you. And that's part of the integration process, part of the healing, it's part of the journey to be able to presence things in a group. We also have weekly exercises and practices that Raja gives you for at home. There's a Facebook community to enhance the spiritual community that emerges from this course. And on the page at karmaclearingcourse.com, you'll see we have a number of other great bonuses to enhance the value as well. So there's a video teaching from Raja called The Dance of Shiva and Shakti. It's actually derivative from a whole program he did, the sacred origins of Hatha and yoga and tantra. There's also a video called Earth to Skywalker, a 30-minute Kundalini and Third Eye Awakening meditation. As Raja's mentioned, in the last 2 years, he's taught courses that have been extremely well attended and very well received, and great testimonials on Kundalini and Third Eye. So this gets a distillate of some of that work for your enhanced value in this program. There's also a full film drawing from Raja's other side as a filmmaker called Yoga, Harmony with Nature. Very beautiful film. Raja, you want to share anything about that as a bonus?
Yeah, I think the work we do is yoga, but esoteric and transcendental yoga. It's transformation through transcendence. And it's important to understand the origins of yoga and where it comes from, because yoga was never initially meant to be exclusively a physical form of exercise or work. It was meant to be a mental stilling of yourself so that you could achieve these higher states of consciousness. And that's what the whole purpose of yoga was. And so all these schools that we have created of Tantra are forms of yoga in their own right. So this film is a short film that I produced for the United Nations and the Indian government to help explain the origins of yoga and where it came from and what it's about. So I hope you'll enjoy it.
And that film is not just a bunch of talking heads. It's extraordinarily beautiful, depictions and graphics, and it's really quite an experience to watch. So, and I should also draw attention, there's another special bonus which you get when you sign up by midnight tonight. We do this to encourage you to go to the page at karmaclearingcourse.com right now. And while you've in this field of practice and transformation and karma clearing that we've created together, that you can make the best decision about whether to move forward. So when you sign up by midnight tonight, you get the Yoga of Healing and Awakening Summit 2019. That's a full package of recordings and transcripts, a whole roster of great teachers from many different areas of the world, this global inheritance of yoga. So it's going to be an amazing program, we are quite sure, and it really gets at the root level of how you can free yourself up to live your finest, best life, and to really clear the old make way for the new, and to activate these centers that can bring more bliss, love, and awakening into your life. And it's going to start on December 10th, run on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And even if you can't make the live time, you can still get the full value with the recordings and the community and the questions that you can ask through that, and the participation through all the different ways that we offer through transcripts and videos, video recordings, and the Facebook community. So, Raja, what a great offering this is. Thank you so much. I know that if people go to Karma Clearing Course, they're going to see tons of testimonials from people who have been through the previous programs with you. You're really a masterful teacher, and you're just also a lot of fun to be around too. So it's great to receive the depth of this wisdom. And also there's a kind of a playful grace that happens in your programs as well. So I know that people are in for a treat. So anything that remains on your heart that you want to share with folks who are considering joining you for this journey into ancient secrets of clearing karma?
I mean, I just want to share with you a sound that will show you, once you become light as a feather, how your heart will feel. And I'll just chant one sound for you 3 times. And I want you to close your eyes, put your mind in your heart center as if you're becoming light as a feather. And just vibrate with me as I chant this sound. Shri. 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 Iti Shivam, it is complete. Our work is complete for today, and you join me on this adventure, and we will go deeper and become light as feathers together. Hari Om Tat Sat, Om Namah Shivaya.
Thank you for that blessing, and thank you for the practices and wisdom transmissions of today. You've been a total blessing to be with, and I know that those who choose to go further with you are in for a real treat. And so if you choose to go further, please do so at karmaclearingcourse.com and get signed up today so you get the extra whole summit of yoga, of healing and awakening recordings when you do. So many blessings. Thank you, Raja, and thank you all for joining.
Namaha.